Thank you, Minghi, for bringing us through the nuances of AI agents. Good morning, everyone. My name is Chin Hui, and I'm the AI specialist at Topan Korea. At our core, we're focused on building practical, domain-specific AI solutions that solve real challenges across government and enterprise. Today, I'm excited to walk you through 4 demos of AI systems we've developed in collaboration with our partners to tackle actual pain points in the field. We'll start with a quality assurance agent that automates test case generation. Next, I'll showcase a troubleshooting agent that helps developers quickly trace and resolve production issues. Then, we'll look at hands-free form filling, developed together with the Health Sciences Authority to ease documentation for pathologists. And finally, we'll show you our AI-powered lip dubbing pipeline, which enables seamless multilingual video localization. Each of these agents represent how AI can integrate smoothly into our existing workflows and drastically reduce time, effort, and errors. Let's dive into the first one, the QA agent. Let me start by laying out the problem we're tackling. Manual QA processes are fundamentally flawed. They're time-consuming, vulnerable to human errors, and increasingly unable to keep pace with rising system complexity. Now let's look at the challenges we face today in quality assurance. First, test case creation is slow and inconsistent, often depending heavily on individual experience or interpretation. Second, achieving complete test coverage remains a persistent difficulty, especially when dealing with large and intricate systems. And third, with evolving project requirements, it takes significant effort just to keep test cases aligned with the latest specifications. And to give you a sense of the scale, we're talking about functional specifications that are 500 pages long and needing to generate and maintain 100 or more test cases from that for every single project. And this is where our QA agent steps in to automate test case generation, improve coverage, and adapt quickly to changing specs. Let me show you how that works with a demo of the QA agent in action.
Let's first look at the functional specification document that we will pass to our QA agent. This FS is based on the Financial Instruments Reference Data System used by the European Securities and Markets Authority. It's fairly comprehensive, with 200 odd pages, and will definitely be a tedious process to write test cases to cover every use case for the project. Next, we have the test case template that we will use to generate our test cases. This will contain important information like test case description, preconditions, and each step of the test case, as well as the expected result. Now we upload our FS document, as well as our test case template, and we can start generating test cases. The agent first passes the functional specification document and then passes it to the business analyst agent, which calls the get module list tool to retrieve all the modules for the project. You can see the result of this tool use and even the agent's thought process. It now extracts use cases from the spec based on the above one. You can see the full output of the tool use by expanding the details. Finally, the business analyst hands off the control to the QA engineer, which manages to generate 491 test cases. The test cases are grouped neatly by module and can be expanded to reveal all the details. Now, let's download the Excel file with the generated test cases and take a look at the output. The test case template provided has been neatly filled in with all the test cases generated, and what's more, is even grouped by module.
As you've seen, the QA agent takes what was once a painstaking manual process and transforms it into something fast, consistent, and scalable. It's not just about saving time, it's about raising the standard of quality across the board. And with that, let's move on to the next demo. Let's shift gears and look at how the troubleshooting agent helps developers resolve real-world issues faster. Can go back to the slides. Meet Jerry, a developer working on the Ministry of AI course portal, where course providers apply for subsidies. He gets this issue from a user. User tried to edit the course description field but received an error about exceeding the character limit, even when making no changes, along with an application number. And now Jerry is stuck. The ministry wants the bug fixed ASAP, but he has no idea where to start. It could be the code logic, it could be the validation rules, a spec mismatch, or even past regressions. This is exactly the kind of situation where our troubleshooting agent shines. So how does the troubleshooting agent actually work behind the scenes? It's powered by a multi-agent system, as mentioned by Ming-Hee, designed to mimic how real teams collaborate in solving technical issues, just much faster and more efficiently. At the top, we have the project manager agent. This agent acts as an orchestrator, receiving the query or problem from the user, like the one Jerry received earlier, and then delegating the subtasks to the right specialist agents. We have 3 specialist agents in this system. The engineer specialist, which is in charge of the code. So it has tools like code search, code pattern search, and code fixer. And we have the business analyst specialist, which handles documentation, searching through the functional specs and the user guides to understand the intended behavior of the system and identify mismatches. And lastly, we have the help desk specialist, which scans through previously reported issues to surface any related bugs, usage patterns, or regression hints. Each agent operates independently but in parallel with the project manager agent, synthesizing their outputs into a coherent diagnosis or recommended action plan. So now, instead of talking about it, let me show you a live demo of the agent in action. So here we key in our issue, which is the exact one that Jerry received, submit it to the agent, and it will process the query. So the project manager agent first assigns the task to the software engineer agent, which looks through the code, and it seems like it has identified some lines of code to dive deeper into. And if we actually expand the output, you can see the observation and the code snippets that it finds. Yeah. So can keep scrolling to see the agent stop process. So it seems that it's something to do with the course submission page within the code. So if we keep scrolling down, eventually the engineer agent will come to a conclusion and it will output the final results. Can we expand the task output? Yeah, so it has found the relevant code snippet and suggested a fix. Yeah, and then subsequently we have the system analyst agent, which has access to past issues, and the business analyst agent, which has access to the user guide and functional specifications. So after all of the agents work together, they'll return the results back to the project manager agent, which will synthesize a final output at the very bottom. So now it's still looking through the user guide. So within the user guide, actually, it states the character limit, which I believe the agent will find. Yeah, so this is the final output. Okay, it seems like we have some technical difficulties. Yeah, but essentially what the project manager agent will do will be to synthesize all the results from the other agents and come up with a final answer. Yeah, so that's the end of our troubleshooting agent demo. So that's how our agent is able to empower developers like Jerry to go from confusion to clarity by combining the speed of AI with the structure of a real-world team. Now let's move on to the next demo. So this solution, automatic form form filling is inspired by our collaboration with customers to identify AI applications that would deliver the most impact. In this case, it was the Health Sciences Authority. The pathologists there told us they were spending an enormous amount of time on manual paperwork after examinations, filling in detailed reports long after the actual work was done. That led us to develop a hands-free form filling workflow that lets them dictate findings in real time and have the system take care of the rest. So here's how it works. It starts with wake word detection, similar to how Hey Siri works on your iPhones to activate the system. Then it transcribes their speech to text. Subsequently, LM will extract relevant structured data, for example, in this case, the date, the height, and the examination details, and automatically fills out the form. This dramatically reduces the paperwork burden and captures data as it's observed, not hours later. Now let's take a look at this in action with a short demo of the workflow.
The system starts transcribing speech to text as soon as the wake word is heard, which in this case is "Hey Jarvis." The patient is identified as John Doe, height 178 centimeters, weight is 70 kg. The scalp is intact with no visible injuries. The nose and mouth are free of blood or debris. A 2-inch contusion is present on the right forehead and a 1-inch abrasion is noted on the left forearm. The heart weighs 350 grams with no significant coronary artery blockages. We now use a large language model to fill out the form fields automatically. The model is able to intelligently detect the information required to fill the respective fields. Information about internal organs are categorized under internal findings, and external wounds are categorized under external findings.
From voice to form in seconds, this workflow turns real-time dictation into structured reports effortlessly. It's a game changer for anyone buried in paperwork. Let's move on to our last demo. Next up, we have lip dubbing, designed to make multilingual content feel native, both in sound and appearance. Here's how the system works. We start with a raw video. Using OpenAI's Whisper model, we generate a precise transcript. That transcript is then translated using the Argos Translate library into the target language. A text-to-speech model, Zonos, converts the translated text into audio that matches the tone and the speaker's profile. So it's using voice sampling and voice cloning technology to mimic the voice. Finally, Latent Sync, another model, synchronizes the lip movement to match the new audio, generating a dubbed video that looks and sounds natural. This is a powerful tool for global content delivery across training videos, product demos, or marketing campaigns. Let's jump into a quick demo so you can just see how seamless this lip dubbing process is.
Translate and dub any video. First, we record the video to be dubbed. Hi, my name is Jack. I'm from Singapore. I'm learning Japanese. Next, we select the input and output language. In this case, the input language will be English, and the output language will be Japanese. Our program first transcribes the speech to text, then translates the English to Japanese. Finally, it generates the Japanese text with audio.
Okay, so in case you're wondering what I sound like in Japanese, I'll say it first before you hear the AI generator one. Can fast forward a little.
Next, we select the input and output language. In this case, the input language will be English, and the output language will be Japanese. Our program first transcribes the speech to text, then translates the English to Japanese. Finally, it generates the Japanese text into audio.
Can pause over here.
Audio. Translate and dub any video. Next, we select the input and output language. In this case, the input language will be English, and the output language will be Japanese. Our program first.
A little further ahead. Okay, I think it was something along the lines of konnichiwa, watashi no namae wa Jack desu. Yeah, so something along those lines.
Our program first transcribes the speech to text, then translates the English to Japanese. Finally, it generates the Japanese text into audio. This is the generated audio. Konnichiwa. 私の名前はジャックです。シンガポール出身。日本語を勉強しています。We can now use this audio without the original video. The video is done processing. こんにちは。私の名前はジャックです。シンガポール出身。日本語を勉強しています。As you can see, we are able to generate a fluent and natural dub using AI technology.
Accurate translation, natural voice, and lips that match every word is proof once again that lips, much like hips, don't lie. So that's all for our demos. If you're wondering what AI can't do, but still trying to find out also. So if any of this spark an idea or solve a pain point you face, let's talk about how we can bring it to life for your team. Yeah, thank you.